Hi, folks. Let's talk about something that we're all aware of. We've already heard walking. Walking is one of the great underrated movements that we do. We're bipeds. It's a natural thing for us to walk, and for the most part, we don't walk enough. Why? Because we can ride in a car, or we can ride in an elevator, or we can ride in an escalator. As we get older, this becomes more and more important. How do people in our age group, I'm 71 and older, how do we fail? We fall down, we get an injury, we haven't worked our legs enough, we don't have good balance. These are things we're going to work on. So I highly advise walking before you do anything else. Now, we'll also talk about joint mobility, keeping the legs strong. Our legs are our biggest muscles. This is the most important thing as we get older. You may have a friend, maybe it's even happened to you, that you lost your balance. You fell down and got an injury, or you know someone who did. Let's do some things to avoid that and make sure it doesn't happen to us going forward. We're not going to get any younger. This is not going to happen by itself. We've got to work at it. We're going to talk about that. How do we walk correctly? I highly advise, and we're going to take a look at it right now. Take off one of my shoes here. As time goes by, very few of us are able to maintain perfect ankles and knees and hips to stay aligned. Now, these are custom orthotics. I went to a podiatrist. They mold your feet and they make the special inserts for your shoes so that you can maintain pretty straight alignment from the ankles through the knees to the hips, so that when you walk, it doesn't hurt. And this will help going forward. Again, this is a suggestion. I highly advise it. It will help you. All right, now we're going to walk on over. We're going to do some walking on steps, and I'm going to show you the right way to walk steps and talk about why it is so important to do that. Okay, let's walk on over. All right, let's talk about something very important. Balance. We don't want to fall down and get an injury. We all know someone that's happened to. Maybe it's happened to us. So, what can we do to work on that? One thing, very simple, stand up, practice standing on one foot. Be next to a rail, something you can hold on to. Again, you don't want to fall down while you're practicing your balance. Stand on one foot. Seems easy? Isn't so easy. Do it for a few seconds, build up from there till you can do it for 30 seconds, and you will see. Take some strength in the leg. You know, if you can't stand on one foot, kind of support yourself with the toe of the opposite foot. The whole idea here is to work on balance, because there's going to be some time you're walking around, probably in your own house, and you're going to catch your toe on something, you're too relaxed, you're going to start to stumble. You don't want to fall down. So the better your balance is, the less likely something like that is going to happen. So you want to work on that one foot at a time. Okay? It might help to do it in front of a mirror. Seems to help when you can see yourself, but it's important to work on that. Okay? Now, something else that we're just talking about, walking, how important that is. Also, steps. Now, if you are ambulatory enough, at whatever age, you could be 90, if you can walk up steps. We'll start with the most basic motion of walking up steps, and we'll work up from there. We will start with the most absolutely basic method of walking up a flight of steps for someone who can kind of walk up steps, but it's difficult. So if you're right-handed, you're probably going to be right-legged as well. So you want to start, hold on to the handrail, and if there's no handrail, those are not steps you want to use. You only want to do this with steps where there's a handrail. Again, we don't want to fall while we're learning not to fall. All right, so basically, come up one step, bring the next foot. Look to see where you're going. Try not to round your back, but don't try and do this without looking where you're going. That's another mistake. All right? Come up one step at a time. Move your hand up. Next step. Keep going. If you need to rest at some point, stop and rest. The important thing is to do it. You're not in a race here. Okay? Move your hand up. Next step. Next step. Try and keep your back straight. Press from your leg. Don't do this. Okay, now we'll go on back down and we'll do the next phase. I know some of you may be thinking, well, I've been going up and down steps my whole life. I don't need to do this. Yes, you do. Let's say that you're at a certain age and maybe you've had some injuries. Maybe you're not all that mobile. It's either going to get worse or it's going to get better. It's up to you. It'll get worse if you do nothing. It'll get better if you do something. All right, let's go on back down to the bottom and we'll do the next steps. Now we're going to assume that you've done this enough, or maybe you didn't need that. Maybe you're someone who goes up steps 1, 2, 3. All right, so we're going to do the next phase here. And now instead of one step at a time, we'll go 1, 2, 3. All right, here we go. The idea here is same thing, control, have the handrail, pace yourself, breathe, press with your legs, go back down. And do it again. Maybe you go a little faster, maybe not. Let your body tell you, right? Some people would look and say, oh, well, that's nothing. Yeah, do it 10 times and then see how your legs feel. I'm not saying start with that, but this is an actual exercise. Okay, now we'll do the next phase. You may or may not graduate to this point. Don't worry about it if you don't, but if you can, here's the next one. 2 steps at a time. And what you'll find is a little different pressure on your legs and hips. Again, it's no big deal if you don't get to this point. This is more advanced. It's something to shoot for. And now we'll do the final 2. Hopefully you can sometime reach this point. Maybe you're there already. When you're doing that, make sure you don't fall. Don't catch your toe. Go forward. But be ready. Be ready to catch yourself in case that happens. The last thing you want is to hit your head. Then you might actually reach the point where you can do them 2 at a time, fast. That's my favorite, myself. Don't worry about it if you don't get to there. It's something to shoot for. These are great exercises. One of my best friends was fine going to the gym, playing his clarinet, right up to age 91. But Lewis didn't do a lot of leg and balance work. One day he took a fall at home, hit his head. He's out of it now. It's a shame. All because he didn't have balance and core stability. The things we're just looking at, he didn't do any of that. Couldn't convince him. So take that to heart. Let's keep our legs and our feet and our core balanced and strong so we can keep on as we get older. No reason to let it go unless you get lazy. Don't let that happen. All right, folks, let's move on with the rest of our day.